With so much Overwatch news trickling out hour after hour, you might start to think that the Overwatch team is messing with us. And you would be right, they actually are. What's going on, guys? It's Frito here for your Overwatch, and we have a massive news roundup here today. First and foremost, of course, Overwatch has actually decided to blow our minds by trickling out small bits of information, and like hungry addicts, we can't help but keep looking back at it again and again. We've already reported on the new arena maps, which is looking for the elimination mode, but possibly a brand new game mode, since they're dedicating so much time towards it, and there was a data mine leak back a year ago. We made a video about this already. Of course, dance emotes are going to be a thing, but also since then, there's also been more voice lines.
I'm not your father.
Setting up the car wash.
And glorious Overwatch skins revealed to us as well. Now, when you look at these skins, they seem different to the normal Overwatch fare. And for thinking long and hard about this, I think that these skins don't actually belong in Overwatch, at least as we know it today. Instead, I wonder if some of these anniversary skins instead are paying homage to the reformed Project Titan, which had a very different art style, at least when it was in development for a long time. Overwatch has a majestic theme to it that sweeps you in with positivity and heroism, whereas the earlier concept art of Titan, the game that was eventually scrapped and then reworked to make Overwatch, had a bit more of an edgy vibe, I think. So my theory, at least, is that these skins might be alternate developments of the characters, possibly scrapped versions of themselves from Project Titan, or maybe Blizzard's doing sort of a superhero-esque theme with this, and these are all alternate versions of the characters that we know and love. Of course, I could be completely wrong on this, but hey, I hope I get points for trying. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Of course, we will just find out on Tuesday, when everything else comes out. Now, if we could calm down for a second with all the cosmetics hype, there's been a definite end date for Season 4 announced, as well as a start date officially for Season 5. Season 4 will end May 25th at 5 p.m. PDT, also known as the following day UTC midnight. And Season 5, not making us wait a week this time, but just 3 days later, will launch June 1st UTC. But that's actually the day prior, 5 p.m. PDT if you're in the States. Lucky us. No long downtimes, that's a good thing. This forum post also goes to explain the different rewards that you get for playing in Season 4. If you placed, you'll automatically get a spray and player icon. And if you end up in the top 500 in your region, you receive an extra player icon and the animated spray, along with everything else. And of course, you get a boom of points used to unlock your gold weapons based upon where your season high was. You get the animated spray for being in top 500 at the end of Season 4, but the CP you get is based upon your season high. So it doesn't matter how far you deranked, either due to decay or all the other things that can happen to us in matchmaking, Overwatch will reward you for the height of what you achieve. And if you reach Grand Masters, well, 3,000 CP is enough for a gold weapon entirely. I passed on the opportunity to get the Rhinehammer before, and I'm definitely going back for that. The Golden Battle Axe is what I'll be wielding when I play everybody's favorite German tank. Now, you may know that our friend Force Gaming did a Q&A with Jeff Kaplan himself. I know, right? Exciting. Now, from watching his videos, he did say that he's going to be expanding on this Q&A himself. I assume he'll be posting that video soon, so if you want the more in-depth version of that, because I'm sure he can illuminate things that happened physically in the room, all I can do is read the transcript. So because of that, check out his channel for further coverage of this subject, but I'm going to sort of summarize these things and pick out some of the most important subjects that I found interesting in this quite lengthy Q&A. When asked about DLC and expansion packs, Jeff said an expansion pack or a sequel would be cool, but basically gave a long answer to explain that dividing the player base is never going to be a thing. So, although extra content sounds like a good idea in theory, it's never going to conflict with splitting up the player base. He says, making good matchmaking is hard enough as it is, and yes, he's right. I don't think any of us want that messed with. This, of course, is a principle that we at Your Overwatch definitely stand by. We've played other games in the past that have DLC maps galore. Can be kind of a headache, so at every opportunity, I try to throw my money at Blizzard so they can keep this fair system in place. I don't want gameplay elements messed with. That's one of the reasons why we like Overwatch so much. When asked about PvE content, especially the game experiences we've had already, Jeff gave a few interesting answers. It seems the team enjoys making the type of content in order to be able to flesh out the game in an interesting way, as well as tell a story a little bit. Jeff explained that building the assets in the engine, because Overwatch has its own engine, has been in steps. So Junkenstein's Revenge was their first step forward and it allowed for Uprising to be a bit bigger of a thing. They seem proud of it and it's useful for storytelling. However, interestingly enough, Jeff says that although they're confident in the content, he doesn't really think it has the staying power to be a permanent game mode, despite the fact that some fans are avidly clamoring to keep Uprising around. Jeff ends this by saying, "I know I shouldn't tell players what they want, but I actually think they want Uprising times 10 as a permanent game mode, not actually Uprising as we put into the Uprising event." Now, this is interesting because it actually seems like they're trying to build up and flesh out what Overwatch can do with PvE content. So if Junkenstein to Uprising was a baby step towards expanding the content, I think it stands to reason that maybe the times 10 amount of content he's talking about could eventually be iterated over time. And that does seem to be the case. When asked about specific scenario missions from the story of the universe of Overwatch, like Reaper invading Volskaya Industries, Jeff seems to indicate that the only thing holding them back from doing things like this is time. They've got varied staff on board from lots of other different projects, a handful of other games, so it seems like they have the talent to do so, but the speed of their normal development is something that makes that a bit difficult. Jeff says, "I think our players deserve a lot more than a Junkenstein or an Uprising, but trying to figure out how to deliver that to them is a much bigger challenge." Mod tools are definitely an interesting subject. It's something that we made videos about very early in our channel's life, and Jeff makes it clear that the team isn't philosophically against mod tools. This is yet another area where, because Overwatch is on a new engine, developing mod tools is just something that they haven't got around to. He clarifies by saying that they're 100% on board with the concept, but the time frame is in years, not soon at all. Jeff answers a few personal questions. His favorite map is Hanamura. Controversial choice, Jeff, as he admits. His most played hero is Reinhardt. And Force went on to ask a few troll questions. Of course, Stylosa from Unit Lost asked if rank matters, and Jeff came back at him with a witty retort. It matters how long you can keep that rank. And of course, we suggested an utterly ridiculous question as well, not knowing that we actually would have got a chance to ask Jeff Kaplan a question, okay? We were very torn up about this. We had no idea that when we asked, "Can May get a jetpack?" making a joke reference to a video we posted on 420, that we'd actually be wasting a chance to ask Jeff Kaplan a direct question. Jeff, please, give us another chance. Is there any chance of a team queue? Is there a replay functionality down the line? Jeff, do you know how long it takes me to comb over pro footage frame by frame so I don't miss anything? There's hours of sleep I could get back in my life if there was a replay function to break down pro footage. No, why did we ask about a jetpack? Okay, fine. No, May's not getting a jetpack, but Torbjorn's cat might. Forrest goes right for the juggler by asking, "Where's Doomfist?" And Jeff, is he memeing us when he says, "You have to ask Terry"? Okay, is this just a big joke now? You're playing with our emotions, Jeff. Are you confirming that Terry Crews is Doomfist? Because we've been playing this will they, won't they game for so long, I feel like we're trapped in the sitcom Friends. Come on, Jeff, hit me with the Doomfist. This question was rather interesting as well. When asked about competitive play rewards, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting more anytime soon. In fact, he wishes that he could wipe our memories Men in Black style to a time before that you could get golden weapons based on playing competitive play. Basically saying that he doesn't seem to buy into the concept of trying to trick players into playing competitive just so that they get some rewards. Because that kind of puts them in there for the wrong reasons. And you know what, Jeff? I tend to agree. Although I do like my shiny golden guns, I would be playing competitive mode no matter what. And I'm sure there's players out there that aren't really into the competitive side of Overwatch at all, but would like the shiny golden guns that the competitive players can get. And it's not really healthy for the game environment to try to incentivize players that don't want to play competitive to jump into it anyway. Doesn't really make for good games. More cosmetic questions. Force asks, "Do you ever thought about doing cross-franchise / cross-IP skins and cosmetics?" Of course, they're doing this in Heroes of the Storm, bringing in Overwatch characters galore. However, he explains that Heroes of the Storm's a bit different. That universe operates on the premise that the heroes from all the other games end up there, whereas Overwatch is a bit more grounded in its intellectual property. However, Overwatch is the overworld for Blizzard games Hearthstone and StarCraft, so perhaps we could see some crossover that direction. So for instance, since Diva is a pro StarCraft player, perhaps one day she could get some StarCraft-related cosmetics. I mean, even something really cute, like a little keychain Zergling hanging off of her bunny blaster. I think that would be cool. When talking about seasonal events, Jeff basically explained that they're not looking to do new ones, but instead iterate and expand the ones that they've already done. So it doesn't seem like he's ruling out that there won't be new seasonal events, but instead, it's going to be a little bit more similar to World of Warcraft, where you could look forward to that season coming up again and excited about the new things that they bring to it. And harkening back to what we said earlier about the PvE experiences, As an example, when Junkenstein's Revenge comes back, which was the first PvE game mode and kind of small, especially in comparison to Uprising, perhaps when it comes back, after you beat the boss, then a door opens to another section. Jeff says that himself. And here comes the esports question. I'm on the edge of my seat for this one. The Overwatch League. Force asks him if there's going to be any pro spectating or specific Overwatch League cosmetics. Jeff goes on to explain that the spectating experience is something that they're really working on. Gives an example of a broadcasting mini-map, which wouldn't be for gameplay purposes, but to help the spectating experience. I think that is actually key. But also things as simple as the teams being colored a certain way. Like right now, there's a red team or a blue team, but typically when you play the game, you're used to everything highlighted in red being bad. So from a spectator point of view, it kind of gets a little bit confusing when that role is kind of flipped. So they're working on that, and these are all things that I expect are going to be up and running for the launch of Overwatch League. One thing he tacked on was that they're working on tracking match history statistics, which is incredibly valuable, because then you can actually compare and contrast different statistics from an individual match, meaning that it can help paint the picture of what went wrong where. Professional sports do this all the time, and it's something that I can't wait to overanalyze myself. They go on to talk about API integration, and Force suggests something really cool, which Jeff says is an idea he might steal, that there could be API integration with Twitch, being able to give you menus while you're watching the game to navigate through to see the stats yourself in real time. My nerd head just exploded. As an esports fan myself, that is incredible. Well guys, that's it for today's big news roundup. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like button. It really does help us out and lets us know that you're enjoying the content. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe because we upload each and every day and have been tracking this news ever so carefully. There's been a ton of it, so if you don't want to miss out, be sure to hit the bell icon so you join the notification squad so you can see when our videos go live. Linked in the description is our Twitter, our Discord server, our new channel that's dedicated to Destiny 2, which also just got announced to be on Battle.net on the PC version, which is something we were surprised by, but a happy accident, as we're now covering both games. Check all those links out down there. That's been it for me. I've been Frito for your Overwatch. I'll see you guys next time.